I'm Captain Gilbert, the Brigade S6. With me is Lieutenant Swanson, the platoon leader in the signal company.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hey, good afternoon. A while back you asked me about HF radios and how they're employed within the brigade. Today we're going to talk about what HF is, where Ready 6 intends for HF communications to be, and how we employ HF within the Ready First Combat Team PACE plan.
Yes, sir. I was wondering what exactly HF is, and also what systems do we have that are capable of it?
Okay, so according to the ABCT MTO, we employ HF primarily through the VRC 104 vehicular radio system. It has a vehicle mount not unlike the FM system, and it houses a Harris PRC 150 HF radio, which can also be used in man-pack configuration if you needed it to.
That makes sense. So it sounds similar to the ASIP, but I've also seen two different types of antennas, a long whip antenna and also a black circular shaped one. Are those used for HF?
Yes, so those are just two kinds of antennas that we use in the brigade for vehicle-mounted HF comms. These two are used for two different kinds of wave propagation, so the means of which they communicate. The long whip is used for ground wave, which is line of sight and travels further than FM, but travels the same way across the ground. And the black circle is something called a loop antenna, which is used for skywave, near vertical incident skywave, or NIVIS, which is beyond line of sight and bounces off the ionosphere.
Yes, sir. So apart from selecting the right antenna, though, that sounds pretty complex. How are people that aren't signal supposed to use these?
So the radio gets programmed by my team. The program takes all of the complication out of it. So the radio is programmed for both ground and skywave, either with the Battalion S6 shop or the Brigade S6 shop. The program is distributed by my team, just like the combo card is, except for it's programmed in instead of distributed by paper. The program can be done in two different ways. Something called automatic link establishment, or ALE, which allows for voice communications, and 3G, which allows for data communications, which is primarily used by scouts and fire supporters.
Gotcha. So that's the equipment I need and how to program it. But who in the brigade gets HF radios? You said they're fairly limited, but usually beyond line of sight systems are at command posts, right?
So that's correct. HF is meant to be employed at the company, troop, and battery command posts and above. Also, Ready 6 is mandated that all logistics nodes have HF capability if they don't have them organically. Fires and scouts also use them below the troop and battery level for long-range communications.
Sounds like HF goes in some important places. What benefits does it have over FM and JVCP? Sounds like a lot of effort just to do voice and data via HF.
So that's fair. That's a fair point. But HF radios operate in the 2 to 30 megahertz range, which our adversaries have a difficult time jamming. So if we're being jammed, if we're in a cyber electromagnetic activity denied or challenged environment, we have a reliable means of communication. Also, there's no need to request satellite time or anything like that, given that HF doesn't operate with satellite systems.
Interesting. So HF probably belongs in the PACE plan then for every warfighting function?
So that's the intent. The brigade PACE plan is still being finalized, but the idea is that we have a flexible exercise PACE where no warfighting function is left vulnerable in a SEMA denied or challenged environment. So HF also, of course, allows us to communicate over long distances. And since there's no requirement for satellite time, those that employ HF can exercise it as often as they wish. A good practice would be to exercise HF every week during command maintenance.
Yes, sir. That makes sense. So we need to use VRC 104s, have PRC 150s programmed at brigade or battalion level, select the right antenna, and exercise our HF radio systems weekly.
That's correct. The only way we're going to get better at using HF radios is if we do it as often as we can. Bottom line is, if we don't have every HF radio installed how we're supposed to, we don't have trained operators, our adversaries hold a distinct advantage over our ability to fight and win the peer and near peer fight.
Sounds like a very good thing to do, sir. Thanks for the lesson.
No problem. Ready first.
Always will.